presentation, you can announce the points too for anyone who hasn't heard it.
Right. Otherwise, I would like to try to finish, inshallah, today.
Okay, very good. Just need one more minute to start the
inshallah
YouTube, and I'll let you know when it's ready.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay, Doctor, I think we're ready if you want to start. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله وحمدا كثيرا وهو الله لا إله إلا هو له الحمد في الأولى والآخرة وله الحكم وإليه ترجعون إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. All the praise and all the glory belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we always do, let's begin with Surah Al-Fatiha. Inshallah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Let's begin. Let's begin by first wishing you all a truly blessed Eid al-Ghadir and Eid al-Mubarak. These two are great days of celebration. As a matter of fact, the month of Dhul-Hijjah is a great month for great celebrations. We finished Eid al-Adha, last week or so. Now we are into Eid al-Ghadir and after that Eid al-Mubarak. And if you think about it, it is all on the path of the fulfillment of the ayat number 9, that we have been discussing in the last two sessions in this particular surah. Right? يريدون أن يطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. This ayat number 9, I recited 8 and 9, but ayat number 9 is what is going to be fulfillment of the prophecy, and we see this in what this Eid, that Eid al-Ghadir, where Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib salam was proclaimed as the true Khalifa. We very know. And then also we go to in the Mubaila, where it was confirmed the status of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And we also ask, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept all our deeds and may He bring a quick end to this unimaginable coronavirus pandemic that has kept us away from our masajid and gatherings. Otherwise, these Fajr lectures that we are doing, we have been having it in the masjid now for about 40 years, slightly more, I think. All these are, signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we will discuss them, inshallah, some other time, when we meet, as to why, these are the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Things in many parts of the world are, extremely difficult and unbearable. We must do the continuous dua, for all. And as I told you, last week as well, that all du'as are good. One of the best ones are the one that we recite, daily, Allahumma dakhla al-kubul surur. And also dua faraj, Allahumma kunni walika hujjat ibn Hasan, which we will also try to recite, inshallah, today, towards the end of today's presentation. So, Alhamdulillah, last week, we discussed in some detail ayat number 10, ayat number 11 of Surah Al-Saf. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu hal adullukum ala tijaratin tunjikum min adhabin alim. This ayat number 10. Oh, you believe, shall I lead you to a bargain that will save you from a grievous penalty? So what do we do, for that, bargain that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is asking us to take this bargain? He's leading us to a bargain, and so what it is this, tu'minuna billahi wa rasulihi wa tujahiduna fi sabilillahi bi amwalikum wa anfusikum dhalikum khairun lakum in kuntum ta'lamun. That you should believe in Allah and His Messenger, and that you should strive your utmost in the cause of Allah with your property and your persons. That will be the best for you if you but knew. Now, of course, we went into this in great detail, last week, and I explained to you fully, the true meaning of, jihad, struggle. So we discussed, completely the truest meaning. And now today, inshallah, we will look at the remaining 3 ayat, and I will do my best if we can complete them, today, inshallah. If we did what the Quran is revealing we should do in ayat number 10 and 11, then the most profitable bargain with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is this, that He will forgive our sins. He will forgive you your sins and admit you to the gardens beneath which rivers flow, and to beautiful mansions in the garden of eternity. That is indeed the supreme achievement. And I gave you, a simile, of a business transaction, a simile of a business transaction. I want you to understand the immense blessings of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. In business, you provide capital. I mean, if you want to do business, you have to have some capital. So you provide capital and the stock which you sell to make profit, right? That is in the business. Here, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is asking us to do this business-like transaction with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. But the immense blessings and shukr of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, that even Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala even is providing the capital to us. We do not have to provide any capital. All what we have to do is to have total iman in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and strive with our persons and our man in the cause of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. All what we need to have is a total faith, total iman, and total commitment. And then we get this bargain that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has promised us in the Quran very clear. And we saw that everything in the Quran is the truth. There are no theories. So we've already gone through all that in my previous lectures. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, وَأُخْرَى تُحِبُّونَهَا. And the other thing as well, so if you think that that is something still far, promise of the future, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, وَأُخْرَى تُحِبُّونَهَا نَصْرٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَفَتْحٌ قَرِيبٌ وَبَشِّرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And another favor that He will bestow, which you really love, and that is help from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and speedy victory. Speedy victory. It's not that something very far. Speedy victory. وَفَتْحٌ قَرِيبٌ. So give the glad news, give the good news to the believers. So this is ayat number 13. Now, the books of, Tafsir are, telling us that, and as we can see very clearly that, that although Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is describing as a business transaction, all the profit is for the believers. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala only gives, takes nothing in this bargain, and all the profit is for the believers. And now, so that was number, very clearly then, ayat number 12 and 13. And this ayat is good 14 ayat. And now let's look at the final ayat number 14 of this surah, which is surah number 61 in the Quran. Ayat number 14 reveals, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, kunu ansarullahi, kama qala Isa ibn Maryam lil hawariyina, من أنصار إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله فآمنت طائفة من بني إسرائيل وكفرت طائفة فَأَيَّدْنَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا عَلَىٰ عَدُوِّهِمْ فَأَصْبَحُوا ظَاهِرِينَ. Beautiful ayat, the last one. It has got a very deep meaning to it. So let's look at it, very quickly, inshallah. The translation of the last ayat in Surah Saf is, O you who believe, be the helpers of Allah. Just as it was said by Nabi Isa, Jesus, the son of Mary, to the disciples, to his Hawariyun. He asked them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is quoting the words, who will be my helpers to the work of Allah? Nabi Isa is asking his disciples, his companions, his Hawariyun. And the disciples replied, said the disciples, we are Nahnu Ansarullah, we are Allah's helpers. Then a portion of the children of Israel believed and a portion disbelieved, but we, that's Allah, but we gave power to those who believed against the enemies, and they are the ones who became, or who prevailed. They are the ones who prevailed. Beautiful. Now, in our books of Tafsir, in Tafsir in the Mu'nim, there's a description, that, who were these people, Hawariyun, that's mentioned in this ayat. Because the ayat says, that Nabi Isa al-Islam asked his disciples, his Hawariyun. So, who were these companions of Nabi Isa al-Maryam al-Islam, who Quran calls Hawariyun? So in the Quran, the companions of Nabi Isa al-Maryam are mentioned, 5 times in the Quran. 2 times already in this surah. Now, this term indicating the 12 specific companions that Nabi Isa al-Maryam al-Islam had. Some of these 12 names are given also in the Bible. For example, Matta and Luke. Now this could be according to Tafsir Namuneh. It could be the Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Luke. Now, Tafsir Namuneh also tells us that this term, Hawariyun, is taken from the Arabic word, right? Ha, Waw, and Ra, from Arabic alphabets. It means to wash. So what does this verb mean, Hawara? It means, to wash. To wash it in such a way that it becomes totally clean, totally silvery white. And this refers to the pure hearts filled with full iman, full faith. Now, in some of the narrations, it is actually revealed that, the Nabi Isa, Ibn Maryam al-Islam, sent each of them as his representative to the different parts of the world. They were devoted, sacrificing, they were fighters in the holy wars, they were soldiers and wholeheartedly loving. But in the narrations of Nabi Isa al-Maryam al-Islam, we are told by Mufassirin that an identical incident occurred under Dawazul Ashira. And you know what Dawazul Ashira is, right? Dawazul Ashira is the very first invitation that Rasulullah gave to his family, his larger family, for the very first time when he proclaimed that he is the Rasul, and he proclaims Imam Ali ibn Talib al-Salam as the companion, as the true representative, true wasi, true Khalifa after him. That was the Ashira, where Rasulullah held a feast for the nearest relatives to warn them. This was the most amazing khutbah given by Rasulullah, as reported in the books. Now, we are not going to go to the khutbah, but if you get a chance, it was the most beautiful khutbah that Rasulullah gave on that invitation, the very first invitation, because it starts with the family, right? Charity begins at home. So it starts with the family, and then after the family, Rasulullah was then asked, now you proclaim to the public outside. So, and first and foremost to respond, just as in Nabi Isa's call to the Hawariyun, and the first to respond there was Peter. The same was the case of Imam Ali ibn Talib al-Salam, whom Rasulullah declared as his successor. Now, this is also reported in the book, by Martin Links, and I actually recommend my students in the university to read this book, Martin Links. It is actually available also. I think it might be available as a free download, from the internet as well. It is, Muhammad, his life, recorded from the earliest sources. Okay, so it is a book that has got most primary earliest sources. And in that book, he gives this, dawat of Dhul Ashira and how Rasulullah then proclaims Imam Ali. Now, Tafsir Namune continues to tell us that one of the disciples named Yahuda Asqariyuti in the end betrays Nabi Isa, Jesus. And there is some reference of it also in Surah Al-Imran, which is Surah number 52. I'll go to this very quickly. So let's look at this ayat in Surah Al-Imran, ayat number 52. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فَلَمَّا أَحَسَّ عِيسَى مِنْهُ الْكُفْرَ قَالَ مَنْ أَنصَارِي إِلَى اللَّهِ قَالَ الْحَوَارِيُّونَ نَحْنُ أَنصَارُ اللَّهِ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَأَشْهَدْ بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ. When Jesus found unbelief on their part, he said, who will be my helpers to the work of Allah? And the disciples replied, and they said, we are Allah's helpers. We believe in Allah, and do you bear witness that we are Muslims. But the iman, or the faith of the Hawariyun, was strong, and the ayat that follows it, ayat number 52, reveals, Rabbana amanna bima anzalta wa tabana rasula faktubna ma'a shahidin. O our Rabb, we believe in what you have revealed, and we follow and we follow the messenger. Then write us down among those who bear witness. The Mufassirin, are also telling us that the account of Nabi Isa Maryam al-Islam is told with special application to the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so the Mufassirin are actually describing all that event in the Surah Al-Saf, and they're looking at different revelations from the Quran, and they're telling us that this account of Nabi Isa Maryam al-Islam is told with special application to the time of Rasulullah. So they're comparing this with the time of Rasulullah, starting with Dawat Dhul Ashira. So, the mission of, Nabi Isa Maryam al-Islam is not different than the mission of Rasulullah sallallahu Muhammad, or for that matter, the mission of all the Anbiya, all the prophets. And we discussed actually some of them, here actually last week. The mission of Rasulullah sallallahu Muhammad was the same mission for the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Islam, brought and revealed also by all the other prophets, the prophet Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Nabi Ibrahim, Nabi Musa, and Nabi Isa, Maryam al-Islam, and all the other prophets with the same message. The message was one, united. Ya ayyuhalladhina ittaqullaha haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Ya ayyuhan nas, ubudu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum walladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Just as this message given by Rasulullah, we see this very clearly in Surah Al-Baqarah. I think it's ayat number 21, beautiful ayat. And so this is one united message by all the prophets, starting from Nabi Adam al-Islam right up to the last prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So then immediately then after ayat number 15, Surah Al-Imran, ayat number 54 reveals, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. And then unbelievers plotted and planned, and Allah also plans, and it is Allah's plans are the best plans because He is the best planners. Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So makaru wa makarullahu wallahu khairul makirin. We have actually looked at many incidents, in this series, that we did in this tafsir explanation of sort of stuff. So many examples that we see very, very clearly that this comes to be true, fulfilled every time. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. The unbelievers plot and plan, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also plans, and it is His plans that are the best of the planners. Best plans, because He is the best planners, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals further in the ayat as the following way. إذ قال الله يا عيسى إني متوفيك ورافعك إلي ومطهرك من الذين كفروا وجاعل الذين اتبعوك فوق الذين كفروا إلى يوم القيامة ثم إلي مرجعكم فأحكم بينكم فيما كنتم فيه تختلفون. Behold, Allah said, O Jesus, O Isa, I will take you and raise you to myself and clear you of the falsehoods of those who blaspheme against you. And also blaspheme against Allah. I will make those who follow you superior to those who reject faith to the day of resurrection. Then you shall all return to me, and I will judge between you of the matters wherein you dispute. So it's very clear. And then in the Quran, we have a very clear explanation of all this, that Nabi Isa Islam was not crucified. He was raised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we see very clearly in one ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yaqinan, without any doubt, he was not crucified. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised him up, as we read here in this clear ayat very clearly. Behold, Allah said, O Jesus, I will take you and raise you to myself and clear you of the falsehoods of those who blaspheme. I will make those who follow you superior to those who reject faith to the day of resurrection. Then you shall all return unto me, and I will judge between you of the matters wherein you dispute. So it's already 5:20 now, 5:21, it's nearly 5:22. So I will stop if you have any questions. If not, then I want to continue and finish this, inshallah.
Doctor, there are no questions at this time. You can continue.
Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the revelation in the Quran, reads, فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فَعَذِّبُهُمْ عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ وَمَا لَهُم مِّنَ النَّاصِرِينَ. This again in that surah. As to those who reject faith, I will punish them, says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will punish them with terrible agony in this world and in the hereafter, nor will they have anyone to help. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَيُوَفِّيهِمْ أُجُورَهُمْ وَاللَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الظَّالِمِينَ. As to those who believe and work righteousness, Allah will pay them in full their reward, but Allah allows not those who do wrong. ذَلِكَ نَتْلُو عَلَيْكَ مِنَ الْآيَاتِ وَالذِّكْرِ الْحَكِيمِ. This is what we rehearse unto you, that is true, Rasulullah, of the signs and the message of wisdom. No, this is, with all the prophets of the past, that, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, helped them. Exactly also with Nabi Isa ibn Maryam, when Nabi Isa ibn Maryam, when they were plotting against him and all that, eventually then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised him, and he is with him. He is ghaib, just as Imam Mahdi al-Salam is ghaib. And both of them will, return towards the end of the time. And Nabi Isa salam will support Imam Mahdi al-Islam together. They will bring about the united, peaceful government for the very first time for the whole world, inshallah wa ta'ala. And that is what we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we shall do, inshallah, also today. So we see, therefore, that in the revelation of Nabi Isa, the Maryam al-Islam in the Quran, and indeed, as in the revelation of all the other prophets in the Quran, the message related to the mission of Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all believers. In the seerah of Rasulullah, we see that when Rasulullah sallallahu met in the Aqaba with a group, people who came to play. So if you have done the biography of the Prophet, then you will know what I'm speaking about. In the Aqaba, that is, when, people from Medina were eventually going to invite him there. But first, some of them come to meet Rasulullah in Aqaba with a group of people who came to pledge the oath of allegiance to him and said, you select 12 people among you and introduce them to me. Then Rasulullah said, you select 12 people among you and introduce them to me, so that they be true duty-bound representative of their people, same as the Hawariyun of Nabi Isa and Maryam and Islam were. So you see this, connection very clear. This shows then how great was the status of the Hawariyun that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed about them in Surah Saf, which we did, and also desired similar group consisting of 12 such disciples as Nabi Isa and Maryam Islam had. I hope you understood this. Okay, let me read this again. And in the seerah of Rasulullah, we see that when Rasulullah met in the Aqaba with a group of people who came to pledge an oath of allegiance to him and said, so Rasulullah said, you select 12 people among you and introduce them to me so that they be duty-bound representative of their people, same as the Hawariyun of Nabi Isa ibn Maryam al-Islam were. So this then shows us how great was the status of the Hawariyun, as we are told in the books of Tafsir, how great was the status of the Hawariyun that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed about them in Surah Saf, and also designed similar group consisting of 12 such disciples as Nabi Isa ibn Maryam al-Islam had. So, to ponder over this ayat again, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu ansarallahi kama qala Isa ibn Maryam lil hawariyina man ansari ilallah qala al-hawariyuna nahnu ansarullah. We are the helpers of Allah. فآمنت طائفة من بني إسرائيل وكفرت طائفة فأيدنا الذين آمنوا على عدوهم فأصبحوا ظاهرين. O you who believe, be you the helpers of Allah, as Jesus said. Jesus, the son of Mary, said to the disciples, who will be my helpers to the work of Allah? And the disciples replied and said, we are Allah's helpers. Then a portion of the children of Israel believed and a portion disbelieved, but we, that is Allah, but we gave power to those who believed against their enemies, and they became the ones that prevailed. So, what a great honor then we see, in the books of the Fajr also point to the great honor, granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that when Allah is the actual source of all power and all matters return to him, yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the supreme almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whose power is unending and unconquerable, is here surprisingly calling us to believers, calling to the believers of his creation, as the human beings, to believe in him, to help. This is an exclusive honor, though its meaning is the same, the supporting of Rasulullah sallallahu in the religion of Islam, in which lies our true success, the true falah, and the optimum success. I think I will end here. There is another few lines more. For example, I've got Mufassirin tell us that our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, said, our followers are our disciples. See, exactly like Nabi Isa's disciples. Our followers are our disciples. The disciples of Jesus al-Islam failed to bear him assistance against the enemies of the Bani Israel, but our followers render us help. They are tortured, they are sent to exile, or they fall martyrs in our cause, and Allah Almighty will grant them good rewards in exchange for so many afflictions that they tolerate, for our sake. And so the closing ayat of this great surah lays further emphasis on the struggles we do, as discussed in previous ayat, in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So striving is the local point of this particular surah. I think I will end here. It's 5:29. I want to do Dua Faraj as well. Let me just, go through this very quickly. Mufassirin tell us, I'm not going to do any more, explanation. I just want to read this very clear, very quickly. Mufassirin tell us that the significance here is even greater, that the rewards of paradise, its bounties, as the blessed verse is saying, O you who believe, be you the helpers in the cause of Allah, they help in the cause of Allah, who is the origin of all the powers, and to whom we will all return. He is the Lord, He is the Rabb, whose power is infinite and invincible. Okay, so this, some more here, which I'm going to write. So this is bound to happen in the prophecies that we have already seen in the final Messiah, Imam Mahdi Sallallahu Alaihi Sharif, is awaited, inshallah ta'ala. The teachings and the prophecy of the Messiah is in all the faiths. We know that all the faiths are waiting for the final Redeemer to come. And I told you, that in the Lord's prayers, in the book, in the Bible, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. It is being recited. That's it. We recite Al-Fajr every day. The Lord's prayers is recited every day. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. This is a prophecy of a Messiah, that this prophecy will be fulfilled in all the faiths. And we should pray then for his appearance, inshallah, soon. So let us end with, Dua al-Faraj. And here is the beautiful dua which we should be reciting, every day, inshallah ta'ala. Oops. Okay, so here it is. Allahumma kulli waliyika al-hujjat ibn Hassan, salawatuka alayhi wa ala abahi fi hadhihi as-saati wa fi kulli sa'a. وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا معينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Dr. Q, thank you so much for this. Two questions for you. One is, can you recommend a Sirah book on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Yeah, see, there are actually many books. You see, it is a bit, unfortunate, and I say this to my students as well, that that in the last 150 years, most of the work has been done actually by non-Muslim scholars, but some of them actually converted to Islam. Martin Link's, I would actually recommend you to read Martin Link's book, Muhammad. His life, based on earliest sources. So he's actually, using primary sources. So if you put your mind, and then Martin Link's also, converted afterwards to Islam. Martin Links, Links is the last name. The first name is Martin, Martin. You'll find this book, probably available free to download from the internet. It's a very good book, to read. The other one, to read is, Muhammad, the Prophet for Our Times. Muhammad, Prophet for Our Time. This is by Karen Armstrong. That is a good book, to read as well.
Thank you, Doctor. Second question is, what is Aqaba, please?
Oh, so yeah, this will take time to explain. Aqaba is, just a place, so when, when Rasulullah, does the hijrah, first of all, some of the, in Medina, which was known, the town Medina was known as Yathrib. It was not called Medina. Medina, the name Medina was given afterwards. It was called Yathrib. In Yathrib, there were 3 Jewish tribes and 2 Arab tribes. The Arab tribes was Aus and Khazraj. The Jewish tribes was Banu Qaynuqa, Banu Nadir, and Banu Qaynuqa. So, this, 3 Jewish tribes and 2 Arab tribes used to live in Yathrib, which later becomes Medina. And, there was always, this, problem, between Jews and, these Arab tribes. And, the Jews actually, used to say, a prophecy that you wait wait, because there will be someone who will arise from there, pointing to the south. South was in Mecca, okay, from there. And when he comes, he will support us. Okay, so, and then when some of the, Arabs went for Hajj, that Hajj was actually institutionalized, established from the time of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? So Hajj has always been there. So when some of these Arabs, they go to Medina and then they go to Mecca, and when they hear Rasulullah, they say, oh, so he is the prophet, he is the real one that Jews are speaking about. Okay, so why don't we invite him before they see him, before, let us invite him to come to Yathrib. This is how Hijrah takes place. So they come, and when they hear Rasulullah, they are totally impressed and they believe. And then, next year, some more of them come, because when they come, they already accept Islam, and Rasulullah is actually sending them back with one of the companions. I will, companion names, you're also, something to, for us to know. So you have to know the seerah of Rasulullah. So he sends them with one companion who's going to teach them about Islam. Then, more come. When they come, then they're going to invite Rasulullah to go to Medina, and they meet at a place called Aqaba. So that is where Aqaba is. Aqaba is a place. Hello?
Thank you, Doctor. Did you want to just make the same announcement you made at the beginning about the
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. So, we've actually finished, the tafsir, or the explanation of sort of the Saf. So, so today is the last day of, of this, explanation of, sort of the Saf. And I thought that, that should be the last one, because, next week, the time of the Fajr prayers is going to be 4:44. It is 4:45. It will be difficult for, many of you, to come exactly at 5 o'clock. It will be difficult for me as well. So I thought that, we finish everything today, which we have, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. But if you still want to meet with me, next week, if you have any further discussions or further questions, and you want to request me, to come again, next week, then I can come, but we can meet at about 5:15 for about 10 or 15 minutes. But otherwise, in all other purposes, we really finished the explanation of, sort of stuff. And, I am hoping that you will continue more, reading about it, inshallah. And of course, if you have any questions, if you want to reach me out, please feel free, to send me an email. It's at h.kimji@utoronto.ca. Okay, or, phone me, and then we can discuss, inshallah.
Doctor, thank you for the time you've taken to prepare this series for us, and digging through all the material and sharing it with us, and giving us your time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us over the many weeks. And inshallah, we'll see you all soon. I hope you all remain safe. Have a very good and safe Eid. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Khuda Hafiz.
Yes, right. And I also wish you all the same. Take care. Don't forget, to continue doing the prayers. And also these are the great days of, make sure that you ask Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, for all the difficulties to be over with this, pandemic and all the other difficulties. There's been a big blast in Lebanon as well. Muslims are in great difficulty everywhere, and we have to, remember them in the prayers each time.
Thank you. Okay. Khuda Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum.